Hey everybody, Wendy Klinke here from Blue Cat Studio. It's time to do day, what are we, 13 now of the Advent Ornament Challenge. I do owe you guys a day 12 due to some unforeseen family emergency circumstances. But let's get started on this one, right? Okay, so we're going to actually do this design. This is my mock-up. It's kind of a stylized and it's a little bit different, but I thought it would be kind of fun to do. So I'm going to sketch with my pencil kind of a line, slightly diagonal if this is my top. And then we'll give kind of a big oval right here, almost in the center, kind of aligned with that, right? And then we'll kind of come down and give him a little bit of a snout. And don't worry about perfection here, my friends. We're just kind of having fun. Oh, that does look a little weird. Okay, I'm going to narrow in the neck a little bit. So you're just going to kind of something that looks, again, stylized. We'll slant some ears back there, maybe a second kind of ear, and then we'll kind of create some space for the rack. But I'm not really going to draw the rack in yet because we have, we're going to paint over this with black. I'm trying to keep it very, very simple. I feel like some of my lives have gone a little bit long, and I want you to be able to just kind of get in, get out. So we're using 3 colors today, black, white, and red. I've yet to decide if we need to add gold or other spicy things, but I'm going to start with a small square or flat brush, and we're going to go all around this guy, just outline him with black and fill the whole ornament with black. I was looking at our entire portfolio of ornaments so far, and I realized, okay, we've got a lot of like bright colors. We've kind of got the whole rainbow, but we don't have anything in black and white. So I figured, this could be a fun change of pace, because we're not trying to have everything be exactly the same. This is an opportunity as we go to just kind of play and try different things, work with different color schemes, different styles. Just going to rotate this guy. Again, just kind of, so I'm sort of dousing my brush in the paint, kind of squishing it in, and then gently sliding it and gliding it along those lines. So of course we go a little slower and a little smoother and a little more carefully when we're right by the outline of this guy. But then when we get out into the main body of the ornament, if there's nothing in the way, then we just kind of go for it. And so please, play with this deer or the stag, even if you're not really comfortable freehanding. So we did an oval, we kind of added a snout. And if it's a little too long, a little too short, you can always add a little paint afterwards to kind of modify the shape. But it's kind of an opportunity to play. And you might be surprised that, whoops, I squashed his head. You might be surprised, what am I trying to say? That when you actually go for it, that your stuff looks better than you expect. And I'll tell you, painting and drawing are very different skills. All right, so now we have a nice solid black circle. Bring it back up here. I'm actually gonna, I don't like that second ear. I'm gonna paint over it and then add it back in. Okay. Here we go. It looks a little horsey, but it's okay. We got this. Let's see. Oh, and there's Melanie from Hometown Paints. She says, Samantha Yeager, these are the tutorials for the Ornament Challenge. Well, welcome, Samantha, if you're joining us. Or she'll catch us later. Who knows? But I'm so excited you guys are here. Thank you, Mel. So let's go ahead and give this guy a quick dry because we do not want any wet black. Because you know what happens when you bump white paint against black? You get icky gray smudges in your white, and that is pretty much 99.999% of the time not what we want. Dab at that one little spot. So it does matter to get it dry. Now it's a little easier when you're working with a wood because wood is very, very absorbent, and it just kind of sucks up that paint pretty fast. All right, so now I'm going to grab some white paint and just kind of fill in here. I'm going to fine tune the edges of this guy with a smaller brush, but if I use a smaller brush for the whole thing, you guys will be here, well, way longer than you want. So bringing this over. Oh, I should have maybe erased my pencil lines. But I think if I get a thick enough coating, then we're probably okay. And then bringing that around there. I'm kind of leaving a little space around the edges. I think it's a bit easier just to leave that space and come in with a better brush than trying to edge up against it with a clumsy brush. But this brush is really great for quick coverage. Now I realize that's not the prettiest stag you ever saw. Maybe it looks like a horse or some other weird animal. A-okay, we're going stylized. Like I'm trying to decide if this feels like, Canadian-ish, like that what's that style I'm thinking of? I don't know. Or if it feels like Scandinavian, or if it just feels like kind of Wendy went to town with a little bit of wannabe Zentangle. I don't know. So give it a little bit of a dry, just to kind of get it on its way while we come in. So I rinsed and offloaded that square brush. We're done with it. You can set it aside. And from here on out, we're just working with a small brush. So hopefully you guys can kind of see my hand for reference. It's a nice fine line. So we're going to get in that white and we will tune it up a little bit. So pretty up those edges. Oh, let me rotate this. I nearly stuck my thing in the black. That would have been bad. Been like game over. Oh. Oops. Sorry, guys. I'm having a little technical issue over here. Okay, so continuing on. Oop, let's get a little bit more of that white paint in here. And okay. Edging. There we go. A little bit here. So here's how we're going to get that second ear in. And I realize that it kind of creates this weird thing, but what I want is to have it look like it's just kind of tucked back there. You know what? It looks like a Doberman pinscher. Oh dear. That's okay though, because again, it's stylized. And once we get a little rack on this sucker, you're going to forget it's that it looks like Adobe. Okay, here comes the fun part. At least the part I like. We're gonna get a rack on this guy. So we're gonna kind of bring up two little bits that right here and here. And again, we're just gonna kind of have fun. So you can literally take this, and I know we're kind of pinched for space, and root it right back like that. Is it logical? Does it make sense? Absolutely not. Does it still work? Yeah, actually it does. How weird is that? And I'll drag another one out here, make it a bit longer. Again, I realize that's sort of odd, but I think it actually works. So I'm just going with it. Hopefully you guys are just going with it too. Again, these are meant to be fun, kind of whimsical. We're not taking ourselves too seriously here, but we're kind of enjoying the season and doing this little challenge to paint something small and fun every day this month. All right. So you just have to be careful. This one sort of turns around on itself. It's a little funky, but I think it works all the same. All right, so next up, we're going to create almost like stitch lines, like just little kind of dashes all along the outside, as if this has been stitched in place. I feel like when it's just straight black, I always feel like the edges want just a little something to kind of ground them and make it feel framed. Just using one of my little mermaid pens to, well, not pens, paint nail brushes. Actually, these are for acrylic nails. Obviously, I have fantastic acrylic nails, not. I got the rattiest artist hands you ever saw. That's okay. They do cool things. And just kind of continue that simple dotted line. And you notice that the deer or the stag kind of breaks into that frame, but that sort of ties and pulls it together. And now it feels, for lack of a better term, coherent. Now I'm seeing a couple of pencil lines kind of poking through. Again, I even thought about this when I was getting prepped. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna grab my big brush again and just do a second coating. It's like, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and erase those before I paint over them. Then I get all into it and I'm like, paint, paint. Totally forget. Anybody else get a little ADHD scatterbrain like that? Or is it just me? I mean, it really could be just me. But probably not. Y'all are artists. I get you. Just touching up a few spots where the white looks like it's a little bit transparent. Any kind of tuning. And we really want to get the white just the way we like it now, because touch-ups later, once we get a little extra pattern on this, would just kind of be a pain. And so coming up, when we start doing some patterns on this, you have a lot of options. If you don't want to add red to this, you don't have to. I started off just doing the design in black and white. And then I was like, I think a little red would just look really, really cool. So I added it and I was like, yeah, I like it. But again, this is your ornament, so I want you to choose an aesthetic that works for you. Oh, while I'm sitting here babbling at you, let's go ahead and get this guy dry. So interestingly enough, when I was working on the design, I kind of cheated and I used a permanent marker. Oh, there's Holly checking in. Hello, Holly. Thank you for joining us. I think you've caught almost every single one of these. We've got a lot of folks who are regulars and returning. All right, so the white needs to be really dry. So one of the cool things you could do, and I did, and I loved it, was I used just a permanent marker to kind of sketch in the lines. And I originally thought, again, I was going to go black and white, and then I just went over it with red. And I think because we're going to do some red painting directly over this black, also doing the permanent marker and going red over it there, will keep it a consistent red. Whereas, I hope that makes sense. Let's see here. I think we're dry enough. I'm going to check the tips. All right, that's a good tip one. Make sure it's dry. If your stag is not dry, you will ruin your pen. So if you like your pen, wait till it's dry. You can also do this with a paintbrush. It's just going to take a lot longer. And I think you guys would rather have that instant gratification of seeing kind of what happens. I know that's how I get. So I'm like, time-lapse video. Hey, Carrie, how's it going? Good to see you. So here's the eyeball, right? And now I'm going to kind of rotate this guy and I'm going to come over and create kind of an eyebrow thing and then come down and a swirl. Did I mention we're going stylized? I hope so, because we so are. Give him a little nostril because all creatures need to breathe. And then we're going to kind of come underneath with what looks like, well, it's a thing, but we're going to add these little, like almost like pennant things, which are kind of like an oversized eyelash. Again, this is very, very stylized, taking a lot of just kind of creative liberties here, but I love that. And if you are like, oh man, I love the black and white, I just want to keep it that way, you totally can. But if you decide you like the red, that's also cool. Oh, Carrie says she got her ornament blanks today, so she can start tomorrow. Yay! I love that. Okay, so now from here, I'm going to kind of do a little line like so with a couple of loops. Now, if you're like big on Zentangle or any kind of tangling and you're really good at it, I would love to see your original designs on this. I'm not really a tangler, so I'm just kind of playing and adding a little bit of design for no good reason other than it's fun. Then I'm going to do sort of a series of kind of loops along here and I keep them connected. I just felt this guy needed like some sort of geometric shapy shapes. I'm adding a little dot inside each of those. They remind me of like fingernails or something. And then we can add a few more kind of loop-de-loos or bumps or rainbow bits, or I don't know what they are. I don't want to call them scales because I don't want them to seem like like a mermaid or something. And I want one more swirl, but I don't really have room. Let's see, maybe we'll do, oh, here, we'll do one right here under his ear. Bloop. So that's, I mean, it's busy, but I think it's kind of fun too. You could also do something around his muzzle if you wanted. I don't know if that's going to ruin it. Let's try. All right, I think that works. Yeah. Okay. So you can call it a day right here and be like, yes, we did it. Like 15 minutes. Boom. Because, I'm trying to make up for promising 20 minutes and then going 30 and 35 and 40 minutes. Or you can add some red if you're feeling it. I ended up doing like this little stitch marks kind of counter to like alternating with these other guys, almost like laying bricks. So kind of centered on the split between the other stitches. I just really liked the look of the red with the black and white. I felt like it kind of helped pull that Christmassy feel in. It's a little bit dark, so it's kind of hard to see. And here. And so this red is a Tuscan Red. So I'm using basic black, basic white, and Tuscan Red. And I like the Tuscan Red on this one because it's a very deep, beautiful red. I felt that the like true red or something kind of fiery would just not quite right. Now this red may need a second coat. I'm not entirely sure. But it's not entirely opaque. So as it kind of sucks into the wood, it may start to get darker or even too dark. So we may do a second coat at some point, or probably after it's dry, to just pop any bits of color that have gone a bit dark. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, that's so pretty. And again, this is a very different look and feel, but I think it's kind of fun. And so you can leave this black if you like, but I was really feeling like I was loving the sense of those pieces actually going red. So I'm going to go red with it. You're welcome to watch and make your own call and be like, yep, I like it, or nope, don't like it. It's going to be up to you. So I'm going to come over here and get his eye swirly swirl. And I love this cheat of doing it's not a cheat, it's a trick. It's I don't know what it is, but I do like doing the permanent marker. I'm like, man, it's so much easier to follow. And if little bits show, it's kind of not really a big deal. And by having that black underneath, it gives a consistent red with this, which also has the black underneath. Gosh, Carrie, I'm so excited for you and your ornament blanks. You've been painting quite a bit, haven't you? But these are fun because we can really get them done kind of quickly. Now, again, if you're just joining us and this is like your first one, doing all 25 it's a major lift. If you've got the time, go for it, but don't freak out if you feel like don't feel like you've got to catch up, right? We're here to have fun. I probably should have left his eye black instead of red. That red looks a little bit eerie, creepy, weird. I can always dot over it with black when it's dry. We'll see. So if you're watching, let us know where you're watching from. I feel like we must have mostly West Coast people because it's like almost 11 o'clock at night East Coast time. Shame on me. But I don't know. I see some West Coast or East Coast people too. So here's to all my night owls, right? Such a night owl. And again, I'm just going over all these little black lines that we just drew with a red. Oops. Amplify that guy. Okay. Very, very simple. Now we do want to be real careful of the boundaries of the stag. So these red lines need to stay inside. If they start to fall out, it's going to look a little sloppy. So if you have to start or end a little short so that you really maintain the red patterns inside the stag, do that. Better to have it kind of slightly inside and not all the way to the edge than bleeding over the edge. Although honestly, it's so easy to paint over it with some black that maybe who cares? Oh, we got someone watching from Louisiana. Hi, hi. What part of Louisiana? And there's Janine. She says, I do all my paintings late at night. Well, yeah, there's no time to paint with a 3-year-old during the day. No kidding. All I can say is bless you, Janine, that you're painting and you have a 3-year-old at home. That's some serious dedication. And it is good to see you, my dear. All right. Okie dokie. Again, this is just very simple. And I would love to see your variations on this. And I'm really not like a Tangle person. Like, I love it, but I don't really have a lot of experience with it. These are the sort of doodles I would do in the office while poured in a meeting. Shh, I hope my boss isn't watching. Although honestly, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but when I doodle in a meeting, even if like the doodles have like nothing to do with the actual content of the conversation, I find it like creates these weird neural pathways or something where like I can remember the conversations better than if I mean that or I'm taking notes, but if it's not really taking noteworthy, sometimes even just drawing makes a big difference. Although quite honestly, I would like this to be sort of my daily business meeting right here. So these are the meetings I live for. Hanging with you guys, painting, doing the thing. And there it is. Alrighty. Ooh, that was kind of simple and straightforward. So if you wanted to amp up the red in a few spots, you could. Like here around the kind of stylized clockwork orange style eyelash. I did not just say that about a Christmas thing, but yes, I did. I date myself. Okay. Let's see. So Holly says, does counting in binary numbers count? And she wants to know how well do we think green may work? Green might work really cool. I mean, I think the idea is that it's stark black and white, and then you're looking for like a bright color to kind of complement or counter it. I think you could totally get away with like a festive green. Where's my festive green? Like this guy might look super cool with that instead of the red. Or you could even do like green and white. In fact, ooh, that would be so cool. Okay, now I want to redo this with a red background and do red and white because I've been looking for like something to do red and white. And we could totally do it on like the back of like a candy stripe thing. All right. Y'all, my imagination is running away with me. But I think there's a lot of cool variations you could do on this. So I can't wait to see your version. And when you get it done, just do hashtag Advent Ornament Challenge. I forgot to put my hashtag stick up. There it is. Hashtag Advent Ornament Challenge. That way, every time I go and search Facebook for that tag, I can find your stuff and be like, oh my gosh, look at these totally like amazing and original works, and look at everybody's versions. And because it's one thing to like come up with an idea, but then you guys always put such a beautiful twist on it. I mean, it's really the coolest thing to like see everybody else take the sort of idea you had and run with it and make it their own. I mean, I love that. So anyway, it's I think we're good. I'm just being, meditative here and adding some more red to my little stitches things. And so anyways, yeah, sometime during this week, I will go ahead and make up day 12. Again, my apologies for missing that. If you follow my page, you know why. And if not, well, I can talk to you about it later, but not while I'm online because I don't need to lose my crap. Okay. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow for the next one. And don't forget to post pics. Bye. Let's see, where's the thing? There it is.